From the Hindu Kush to the Rockies, a journey from Kabul to Colorado in community-led transformation, a memoir of resilience, advocacy, and transformation by Homayun Milad. Episode 40, Personal Encounters and Transformative Stories. Personal Encounters with Community Leaders, the Kabul Years. In the heart of Kabul, beneath the towering presence of the Hindu Kush Mountains, my journey in community development began with countless encounters that would shape my understanding of grassroots transformation. The faces of community leaders, each etched with stories of resilience and wisdom, remain vivid in my memory. From the village elder in a remote district of Badakhshan, who taught me the importance of patience and building trust, to the young emerging leader in Herat, who demonstrated how traditional values could harmonize with progressive change. The establishment of community development councils across Afghanistan's diverse landscape brought me into contact with extraordinary individuals who challenged conventional wisdom about leadership and change. I remember vividly a community leader in the Central Highlands near the Baba Mountains who transformed his village's approach to collective decision-making. His ability to bridge traditional Jirga practices with modern development principles showed me how authentic leadership grows from deep cultural roots while embracing new possibilities. Working with district development assemblies, I witnessed the emergence of a new kind of community leadership. These weren't just administrative bodies. They were living laboratories of social transformation. A particular encounter in Nimroz stands out. A local leader who had initially resisted our development initiatives later became one of its strongest advocates. His journey from skepticism to active engagement taught me that true community transformation requires both patience and persistence. The diversity of Afghanistan's landscape was reflected in the variety of leadership styles I encountered. In the pomegranate orchards of Kandahar, I met community leaders who combined agricultural wisdom with innovative approaches to economic development. Along the plains of Herat, I worked with leaders who showed remarkable skill in building consensus across different ethnic groups. Each encounter added new dimensions to my understanding of how leadership emerges and evolves in different cultural contexts. Personal encounters with community leaders. The Colorado transition. Arriving in Colorado, I found myself in a different landscape, but with familiar echoes of community leadership. The transition from working with Afghan village councils to engaging with community leaders in Aurora and Denver presented both challenges and revelations. The faces were different, the context had changed, but the fundamental principles of community engagement remained surprisingly consistent. My engagement with the Colorado Refugee Speakers Bureau brought me into contact with emerging leaders who, like their counterparts in Afghanistan, were navigating complex social transitions. I witnessed individuals transform from hesitant newcomers into powerful community advocates. Their journeys often reminded me of the village leaders I had worked with in Afghanistan, people who found their voice through serving their communities. One particularly meaningful encounter was with a former refugee who had become a bridge builder between established residents and newcomers in Aurora. His approach to community leadership echoed the wisdom I had learned from Afghan elders: the importance of listening deeply, building trust gradually, and leading through example rather than authority. These parallels helped me understand how leadership principles can transcend cultural and geographical boundaries. The process of establishing new community initiatives in Colorado introduced me to local leaders who brought fresh perspectives to familiar challenges. Their innovative approaches to community engagement often complemented the traditional wisdom I had gathered from Afghan community leaders. This synthesis of different leadership styles and approaches enriched my understanding of how communities can be mobilized for positive change. Reflections on transformation and growth. Lessons from two worlds. The journey between these two worlds, from the community councils of Afghanistan to the urban neighborhoods of Colorado, has been a profound lesson in the nature of transformation itself. In Afghanistan, I watched communities transform through the careful implementation of development initiatives, from establishing local governance structures to fostering economic resilience. Each success and setback taught valuable lessons about the delicate balance between preserving cultural identity and embracing necessary change. The transformation I witnessed in Afghan communities often came through small, incremental steps rather than dramatic changes. A women's council finding its voice in a conservative village, a youth group initiating environmental projects, or a traditional council adapting its decision-making processes to become more inclusive. These were the building blocks of lasting change. The wisdom gained from these experiences proved invaluable when working with communities in Colorado, where similar patterns of gradual transformation emerged. My own transformation mirrored these community changes. The abrupt transition from being a development practitioner in Afghanistan to starting anew in Colorado forced me to reconceptualize my approach to community engagement. The skills honed across Afghanistan's varied landscapes, from the heights of Pamir to the deserts of Nimrose, had to be carefully adapted to serve the needs of communities in my new home. The growth I experienced wasn't just professional, but deeply personal. The challenge of rebuilding professional networks and establishing credibility in a new context taught me humility and patience, qualities I had often advocated for in community development work, but now had to embody in new ways. Each obstacle encountered in Colorado became an opportunity for growth, much like the challenges we had faced and overcome in Afghan villages. We'll continue this story in the next episode, so stay tuned.